This Sunday is the first tournament that I will be competing for cash in the professional division. And I find myself asking, do I have what it takes? Eager Beaver is pretty easy, and although we are playing the long pads, I can see the short pad and the long pad right here. They're about 25 feet apart. I'm estimating that it's going to take an 11 down to cash at Eager Beaver, and it might take more than that to actually win money. My goal today in my practice round is to reach circle 1 on 12 tee shots. I think if I'm doing that, I'll hit my mark of 11 down for a chance to cash in the tournament on Sunday. Let's hope that I have a good practice round today to set myself up for cashing for the first time. That's terrible. Despite my tee shot being pretty bad, totally missing my line, I'm still in the circle. I think it really emphasizes how important circle 1 putting is going to be here at Eager Beaver. One circle 1 hit out of 12 completed. Before I forget to mention it, I'm not going to have time to edit this video before the tournament on Sunday, so I'm actually going to post it after the tournament, and I'll give you the results at the end of this video. So you'll be able to see whether or not my practice today actually got me prepared to win money on Sunday. I was a little fortunate on hole 1 to still make it to the circle with a bad tee shot, and now on hole 2 it looks like it's going to require a forehand for me to consistently get to the circle. Wow, that was really hyzered and really bad. So simple. So easy. Why can't I do that? It looks like I'm throwing the respecty on anhyzer instead of trying to throw the Raptor flat, because my forehand is not that good. It's a little low uphill. Better hope I don't end up here when I'm actually competing. The flex shot with the respecty worked great, so I think that's probably what I'm doing in tournament. Hole 2 is kind of tricky. I don't feel too bad about messing up beforehand. I do it all the time. But this shot is a little more simple. 270 feet uphill, isn't a guaranteed birdie or anything, but an echo thrown pretty straight should get me to the circle most of the time. Ooh. Really put a little ante on that, and that, I don't think that's C1, that's C2. This is really a poor start for getting 12 out of 18, 2/3 of my shots in the circle, when I've gotten one of the first 3. A little more ante, and that's probably parked, but I think echo is still the play. I just have to throw it a little bit more flat. I really didn't think it was this bad. It's still a decent C2 putt, but I've really got to get myself within 35 feet more often. Got the birdie, but missed out on reaching the circle. On to hole 4. My rangefinder tells me this is 240 feet. I need to start getting to circle 1 more consistently. This is not going great. So I think my ticket to C1 is the M2. It's more stable. I love the Zone SS for parking it, but I'm playing for C1. So right now, the M2, I think I'm playing to left side to about 25 feet if I have a good throw. Come on. So it was low, but the disc did exactly what I was hoping it would do. Slowly push left. I don't know if I'm quite in the circle or if I'm 35, 37 feet. Hoping for a C1 because I need that stat. I was right about parking it. I do bring that tree on the right side into play. I think the Zone SS is the play. Couple inches low, but the good news is I was right, even though I didn't throw a great shot. 25 feet with the M2 left side, So that really worked out how I wanted it to, but the Zone SS was clearly the better way to play the hole. 288 feet should be a somewhat simple shot with the Echo. Again, I don't need to have that anhyzer on it, but if I throw this flat, I should be in the circle like 8 times out of 10. Oh, I anteed it again. That is so short. At least I don't fly it. I don't like disking up to the FD1 and pushing it more right side. The shot shape doesn't fit the fairway, but it does reach the basket. I don't know if that's the play or not. Pretty close, but I should be closer. So this is probably a forehand line off to the left. I don't know how well you can see it with the sun beaming into the lens, but there's no shade up at the camera. So it might be a forehand. I'm gonna play the right side one, a zone and then a berg on hyzer. I think the zone gets there more easily, but the berg might be smarter. I was thinking skip ace with the zone actually. Sadly, that is short of the circle. That was a much worse shot and it's actually closer. To make it worse, that was gonna be 20 feet if I just missed this last tree. Well, the C2 putting is great and it's making up for my lack of circle 1 off the tee, but I'm failing my goal. That's unfortunate. The bad news, I've only been in C1 twice. The good news, I'm 4 down through 6. Okay, I don't think that's 220. It's over through the zone and I didn't throw that hard. I'm not sure what to throw. I think berg might be the play. Well, with my practice shots, I am getting to the circle off of every tee, but clearly it's not happening on my first throw. It's not too early to say I'm unlikely to get 12 C1s today. I've already missed 5, so I could only miss 1 more. Don't like my chances. I think the gaps on this hole are too tiny, even though it's only like a 200-foot hole. 174 feet, apparently. It's pretty silly other than a really touchy forehand to actually think you can park it. That was a perfect shot and it hit a tree. Maybe a flex forehand? That was way too much anhyzer. I'm gonna get a tree on every shot. Two trees. This is ridiculous. Frick, that's early. Okay, finally a successful shot. I think it's the biggest portion of the fairway, the most consistent birdie putt. Zone SS, 1 step, try to throw it flat. It'll probably drift for me because I wobble forehands. What a stupid hole. Zone SS is officially the play. So in a sense, I am playing kind of bad, and compared to my goal, I am so far off pace that it's not funny. But I have done some good practice shots, and I do feel like I've figured out several different holes just by throwing a couple off of the tee. So that's the good news, and I do think that it's going to help me play better in the tournament. What? I don't know how I'm throwing that Echo so poorly, but it's really costing me because I'm just not able to get a straight shot out of the Echo today. So that's me throwing an echo well for once. I'm just living outside the circle today, and it is not great for the scorecard. I've made 3 great putts today, but I want to be closer off the tee than this. I don't know if my goal of 12 C1 looks is all that realistic. This is a really scrappy line. Like, it's kind of tough to expect to get to the circle from here. I want to say, actually in the circle this time. Finally back in C1. Made the putt. I am 6 down through 10, which isn't actually terrible for a pace of going for 11 down for a chance to cash. Obviously, I'm going about my goal completely wrong by just cashing every circle 2 opportunity, apparently, rather than getting to the circle. But hey, birdies are birdies, right? I guess I really just haven't played Eager Beaver that much. There are just a lot of scrappy tee shots with just a bunch of trees that you might hit if your shot's not perfect. Even then, you might just kind of drift into a tree on accident. So I'm not sure if I'm going to reevaluate 11 down being the line to cash, maybe 10 down cashes, I don't know. But I am thinking that my goal of 12 C1 hits off the tee after only playing this layout one time before was a little bit foolish. This gap is kind of crazy, but if I hit it, the keystone should take itself right to the basket. We'll see. Well, it was going to the basket. Also going to the basket. Maybe zone SS on Anheuser. It's not going to hold. Maybe I just try to punch through the corner right side. At least this way there's only like 1 tree to miss. That was actually a bad shot, but kind of demonstrates that if I do miss a tree, then at least it gets through. Flex forehand on the right. Gonna cut that. Well, I think I finally made it to the circle. I don't know how repeatable that is. A few feet further than it should be. Here's our Raptor. Definitely a better play than the backhand. Well, sadly, I didn't take my real upshot and putt as seriously as I should have, and I did bogey that. So I'm only 5 down now, which is sad, but I have another chance to throw a bird to the circle, and I'm hoping I can do it. I don't know if you can see the basket here. It's just another scrappy little shot with trees that you just might hit. It's kind of awful, and I think I'm at edge of circle. I almost aced that. I was about 3 feet short. Just outside the circle. The Warden was best, but I think it's riskier than the Berg. I think I just need a little more power on the Berg, and I play it up into the circle instead of being short in those trees. This hole is the one that's uncharacteristic compared to everything else. It's like 390 feet according to UDisc, 367 according to the T sign. I'm not sure which one's right. But it's going to take a few shots with some drivers probably to actually go into the circle. Oh. I only brought so many drivers with me, so I only have a few more shots of getting a C1. Sadly, that was so good, and I think it's just 50 short. It just might be my exception. I don't know if I care enough to keep throwing this hole over and over again when the yellow Enigma that I wanted in the bag isn't there, because I wasn't thinking about this hole. Oh! The best shot was indeed the Brave. I don't know if I hit this or just stopped, but C2, not in the circle. I'm gonna make hole 13 my exception to reaching the circle with a practice shot on every tee. I'm just gonna give that one up and say, just not gonna birdie it. There are other people on the course. I don't wanna waste all day on a shot that might take me a lot of throws to hit without the disc that I actually want to throw. I'm just gonna move on to hole 14 and get one in the circle. I believe I'm parked. Finally, another birdie. This one should be a simple, very repeatable birdie, so hopefully I get it in tournament. But it's nice to get a birdie for once. Back to 6 down. Hole 15, 165 feet, but very downhill. I think you can see the basket there behind the tree. I might actually jump putt this with a zone off to the right side. Just have it hyzer down the hill and play into the circle. That might be the birdie play. Otherwise, it's got to be a berg. I think nothing else slows down in time. So I'm in the circle. And I think if I had missed that tree, I would have been within 15 feet. I don't know if that's how it would have played it. They kind of bounced me sideways off that tree, I guess, this way. But is it worth a shot? It kind of worked out. Zone ended up staying pretty close. I hit that tree and kicked forward. I think it's kind of the play. That jump putt hyzer just swings in toward the circle. I'm torn here between Zone SS and Echo on Anheuser through the left gap. I don't like the dead straight. It's a fun shot, and I have gotten the birdie with that, but it's pretty risky. So I think I'm playing it on the outside. I have a feeling one of these two is going to be C2, and one of these two is going to be parked. So hopefully whichever one I choose and throw first is the one that's parked. Oh, that's not good. C2. Pretty much parked. Of course, this is my second throw. Of course. Oh my gosh. My putting from outside the circle today is unbelievable. This is insane. That's gotta be 70 feet. 78 feet. Once again, the practice shot turned out great. Now I have a better indication of what to try in the tournament. But man, oh man, is my putting on fire today. That's unbelievable. If I had paid better attention and made my one missed circle one putt, I would actually have a score that would be possible to hit that 11 without getting anywhere close to my goal of reaching the circle 12 times. 17 is a fairly tough birdie, if only just because you go a little long, you're going pretty far long past down the hill. However, I have 9 birdies with 2 holes left without being anywhere close to my goal of 12 throws into the circle off the tee. So honestly, I have a pretty good feeling about this tournament. Even if I just par the last 2 holes, getting 9 birdies while only being in the circle off the tee 5 times, pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good about that. Oh, that was bad. Oh, and it got a lot of ground play to the left. So I went with the M2 for the less distance than an Echo and some stability. I think I should have gone Zone SS. Once again, practice shot is fantastic. Zone SS it is, unless it's super windy. Then I'll probably go M2 just to fight the wind a little bit more. But that is pretty much marked. I almost have no words. 5 outside the circle putts, including a 70-footer in one round. It just shows you tee shots, not great. Putting, absolutely fantastic. Should I go for a 6th one? Final hole off to the right there. It's either an Anheuser shot, probably Zone SS, maybe the Echo, like I did 2 holes ago, or it's a Soul, but I'm not sure if I trust it in the wind. So I'm a little bit torn here. I think I'll give the Zone SS one more shot at the Anheuser. If it's really bad, then, well, I've learned my lesson. I think I was a 1.5 feet low of absolutely parking it, because I think the line was great and I just hit a rock 40 feet short. Either the tee sign is totally wrong, it's way more uphill than I thought, or I'm just playing really bad, but I was so low and short on so many shots here that didn't even make it to the circle. Only the Dynasty was actually good. And I was really hoping to get a 6th one. Well, I finished 9 down, which I don't think cashes, but to be fair, I think I learned a lot in practice, with it being only my 2nd time playing the entire layout. So I feel actually pretty good about cashing. I have a lot of confidence after hitting some long, crazy putts, and also all except for hole 13, the 390-foot hole, I put a practice shot in the circle or several. So I feel very good about consistently reaching the circle in the tournament itself. I feel good about avoiding that single bogey that I took, and I also feel good about just kind of playing better than I did today. I'm not sure I'll hit more circle 2 putts, but I'm thinking I won't have to. Anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully in about 5 seconds you'll see that I in fact did cash in my first attempt at cashing an MPO.